How many people were treated like that?
You want to translate? Guadalupe? ¿Que cuántas personas han
Shocked silence when she said that for a moment. After all, she was the authority, and people who begin to complain right away begin to feel conspicuous. But slowly, one by one, people did begin to speak up.
My name is Genoveva. It happened to me about 5 years ago. Something
Like that?
Mm-hmm. And I have to take a lawyer because my mother needs help. The social worker don't help me nothing. When I take the lawyer, she helped me.
Just like that?
The government. Her husband was being immigrated. He wasn't here. She couldn't work because her child was sick. It's incapacitated. The baby doesn't have any movement in the limbs. And she needed to pay her bills and take care of things. So she went to ask for help, and the lady said to her, she can't get any kind of help. And she threatened her. That she was going to send a notification to immigration, and that immigration would come and get the baby.
It seems to me, parece que we have to ask, why is this type of problem, what's the source of this kind of problem happening? ¿Qué es el fuente de este tipo?
And the people, too, later on said they were shocked, but they could understand it. They'd been through things like that. I wanted to let her off the hook, but she pushed me away even and said, let me go on.
Was your sister applying for Medi-Cal or food stamps or
I believe it's current.
a cash grant?
Excuse me, would you say it louder, please? I can't.
I'm trying to determine what her sister was applying for at the time. Was it an AFDC worker that talked to
I
her?
believe so. And I told her, why did you go? Why didn't you talk to the supervisor? Why didn't you ask for this? She says, no, the council, it answers the same thing. I go, you're supposed to talk to somebody that can help you. Go, I told her just recently, last month, I told her, go. If you don't, not because of the money or nothing else, just to let the person know that there's somebody there that's not treating whoever goes to solicitate help right. Because you're embarrassed as it is to go. You really are. I feel you don't want to go, but if you have to go, you just have to. You just can't. You can't work it out without money right here, and if you don't have the money.
The students later and we later on discussed not only that the situation was familiar, but also that they began to realize how interconnected the problems were. It was a problem of lack of knowledge, of information, it was a problem of immigration, it was a problem of health, it was a problem of work, welfare bills, etc.
My sister carries him or moves him around, and he can't even move.
What makes sometimes for an adversary situation, what are the pressures that are on the welfare worker who's giving the aid? ¿Qué causa una situación que está aquí para ayudar, a veces que se cambia en casi como una enemistad? So, is there anybody else who wanted to say if this has happened to them or not?
Excuse me, Marty, I don't think they were responding. I don't think they finished their response. We should let them. Excuse me.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by responding.
To the problem of whether
Yeah.
this happens and
The
why
problem
this
we're
happens.
talking about is an individual worker problem. That's why I asked how many times this has happened to
Y para ayudarles.
La pregunta es esta. Por ejemplo, ustedes que son trabajadores del Seguro Social o del welfare, ustedes pueden hacer una demanda contra un ilegal que va a pedir ayuda, o pueden
All right, espera un momentito. All right, you that work there at the welfare office, can you sue or can you send the immigration department to pick people up? Do you have
es
that
parte
power?
de su trabajo de ustedes ese de reportar a un ilegal que va a pedir ayuda.
Is it part of your work to report people to the immigration office when they are here illegally?
Not directly. The form that was mentioned in the tape here, if the person doesn't have a card, it does go to immigration.
More loudly, please.
The answer is yes, basically.
Sí, básicamente sí.
The answer is yes, basically.
Sí, básicamente
The answer is yes, basically.
sí, básicamente sí.
That the form that is signed and that they were showing on
La forma que ellos
the
firman,
TV does go to immigration.
sí lo mandan a inmigración.
But if you're asking,
If the person doesn't have a card.
Si no tiene la mica.
but if you're asking, do we pick up a telephone
Pero si ella quiere saber si ustedes ellos levantan el teléfono
and call the immigration,
y llaman al departamento de inmigración,
like in the movies,
como en las películas,
and try to hold you there till they come?
y tratan de detenerlos aquí mientras viene la persona o la mica,
No.
migrante.
Her impulse
Okay.
was right. Her impulse was right. She wanted to make her job seem not so treacherous, not so dangerous, and reassure the people. But at the same time, even while she is a professional, dedicated, and was trying to communicate very hard, she was not sensitive to the vulnerability which this whole process involved. Dismissing it by saying it's not like in the movies doesn't really give weight, which anybody who has been there could testify to the fact that a slight earthquake goes through a street where the paddy wagon comes anytime during the day or night, picking up people.
En muchos casos. They don't have enough staff, right? No tienen
They're way
suficiente
behind.
personal.
Years behind.
Years behind. So
I mean, there's so many of you floating around nowadays in the country without papers. They'll probably never bother, you see. The immigration department can't keep up. It's just a requirement we have to do.
they don't have enough staff, right? No tienen
They're way
suficiente
behind.
personal.
Years behind.
Years behind. Son años retrasados.
Pero sí dan la ayuda a ese momento,
¿Qué?
sí dan la ayuda en ese momento, aunque manden la forma para San Francisco, pero en ese momento dan la ayuda o no la dan.
You still give the help. You send the paper, but is the assistance still given to the woman who's asking for it?
Yes.
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 You have to understand that a lot of these people have seen husbands separated from wives in years gone by, children even taken away. They always have that danger hanging in their head. You may reassure them. They are not, from where they're coming in life, that reassured.
Because we don't know, you can't walk up to me and say, I have a sister, she has a handicapped child, why can't she get aid? We have to know more than that. I'm going too fast.
Quizá ellos te enseñan, te digan, si según las leyes o las reglas, ustedes tienen que firmar. ¿Okay? Porque sí tienen que seguir las leyes, naturalmente, porque trabajan ahí y no quieren perder su trabajo.
And you have the right to know why she cannot get aid. And you have the right to be told that. And I say that 99% of our people do that.
Pero ustedes tienen el derecho de preguntar y de saber por qué no o por qué sí.
But you do have that right.
Okay?
Okay.
Repeat that one more time.
You do have the right to know.
Again, here she was trying hard to reassure the students by speaking of their, quote, legal rights. They have a right to be told the reasons for disposing of their case. They have a right to complain of unfair treatment, etc. This automatic talk of rights has an ironic sound to people like my students whose bitter experience teaches them that sometimes an attempt to exercise their legal rights may brand them as troublemakers and is even apt to bring informal but cruelly effective reprisal in the form of delays, adverse judgments, withholding of benefits, etc. So it's a little like the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness guaranteed to everybody in the Declaration of Independence, but which, in the less lofty realm of daily struggle, turns out to depend on chancy things like luck, birth, education, social position, grit, economic advantage, etc., which the Noble Declaration, of course, doesn't take into account.
Of time, you have time pressure.
Time pressures that it's up to you to ask. And that's your right. It's up to you to ask, and that's your right. And that's your right. And that's your right.
Futuro quiere arreglar su emigración permanente.
And if she signs and receives the benefits in that moment, but later on she wants to immigrate,
¿Qué pasa ella si le perjudica recibir los beneficios para el futuro o no le perjudica? Ella puede arreglar después.
what happens? Does it hurt her in the future to have received benefits?
Immigrate where?
To this country. In other words, she...
Oh, or like apply for citizenship or residency?
She's illegal.
And she has received aid.
Will it be held against her?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. And this, as
Far greater even than the fear of immediate deportation, if you don't have legal papers, is the fear of future reprisal, of having your legal application for residence held up or refused because you once received welfare. As you see, we couldn't get any real information about this process from the welfare people themselves, even though they've been processing welfare recipients for years. What rankles or embitters these students, I guess, is the discrepancy they perceive between the legal, reasonable-sounding rules and regulations recited to them and the arbitrary, secretive way they sense their fates are often really decided, in a sort of administrative kangaroo court kind of proceeding, a twilight zone beyond reach or appeal whose anonymous procedures and personnel they may never be able to get traction on. To sense this, and yet to be constantly preached to about paper rules and regulations, to feel a little like Alice felt in Wonderland, where the Red Queen, remember, kept shouting at the top of her lungs, sentence first, verdict afterwards.
As to how this affects the decision.
1 second.
Okay, would you repeat that again a little louder, because I didn't hear you.
A lot of times when talking to the Spanish-speaking client,
Mucho tiempo hablando con la...
A lot of times.
Muchas veces hablando con las personas que hablan español.
when you ask them a question,
Preguntando preguntas.
and they answer it,
Y luego contestándolas.
they say a lot of other things that aren't pertinent, or they're not agreeable with the question. They say they go into detail a lot.
Ellos van con muchos detalles, con muchos otros detalles.
And so a lot of times all you want is one answer, a yes or a no.
So make up your mind, Mrs. Ramirez. I've got other clients waiting. Are you going to sign or not?
Ay, Madre de Dios.
All you need is a yes or a no, but it doesn't pertain at all to what the question was asked. It doesn't. It's not relevant.
Okay,
You can say what you need, and as little as detail as possible.
Con menos detalles posibles.
Puede ser la de ella, que al gran, a lo que te traje, te traje.
What's that? I didn't.
Okay, what's that mean? Pues di que a lo que va uno va. Se va al baile a bailar.
All right, what is that one?
Business is business. I go to business and business is business.
But business at the survival level is different than business at the business level. Now, I will quote one of my students.
I just have a question.
Okay, just translate it. I will quote one of my students. Your business is to serve me, not to fill out forms.
But you'll have to sign in this other place then. See down here? It says where it says you're in the country without papers. And afterwards we have to forward a copy to the Bureau of Immigration and Naturalization.
We're witnessing, of course, the workings of the well-known devil, bureaucracy, which, like the weather, we all complain about, but don't have no much to do with it. We don't know how to deal with it. The nobody in charge syndrome.
The new regulations, they're 375 pages long.
Okay, apenas recibieron ellos las reglas. ¿Cuántas páginas? 375 o 76 páginas de reglamento.
So I don't want to give a wrong answer at this time. I do not.
I would like to do now is to show you how we analyze the situation. And you'll have to put on your earphones because we're going to see the same thing again with an analysis of the language. The students are going to hear it in Spanish. And then we'll ask the students to show you how they have improved the problem. All right? Now, if this mechanically works right, you're going to have an English soundtrack. And they're going to have a Spanish soundtrack. For hours, until there's 7 kids, you know, and my husband, he's at home. He looked for work in Modesto.
Well, I'm sorry, but you were 50 minutes late for your appointment, you know. That's why you had to wait. We have a lot of other clients besides you, remember.
It's not my fault, señorita. My boy Juan in trouble in school.
Como la trabajadora social inmediatamente trata de desviar los detalles tristes y se refugia en volverse a trabajar, una respuesta común de trabajadoras de crisis.
The feelings are be torn apart if they make themselves honorable all day. But you ask the patient or the petitioner, she'll tell you it's cold and callous behavior. At that moment, her case, her predicament, is naturally the only predicament in the whole world.
Did you hear it? Anybody hear it? Thank you.
So one of the big problems is how do you deal with a social worker, and then what is the structure that causes the social worker to be under such pressure?
The social worker is not being who they are. They're being a tool of the system, responding in the way they've learned to respond to these problems. A number of times, the social worker's been doing that all morning, they've been doing it all afternoon.
Remember, I do not make the laws, and you don't make the laws. The government makes the laws. And the government says everybody here without papers has to sign if he wants to get benefits.
The recipient may be forced by the nature of the system to tell an untruth to the extent to protect themselves.
Your visa number, your green card number right there, I need you to sign right there.
What happens if I don't have a green card? What will happen?
I can't fill that out, and you can't sign there, and I can't send the papers to him, you don't get any benefits.
This stage act of deliberately falsifying the record to protect oneself, as the previous speaker said, evoked sudden sympathetic applause from many onlookers, as you can see, who seemed to recognize it as the least risky response to the two bad choices offered: not to sign and do without food stamps, or sign and pray the computers won't find you out. There's something more, though, I think, in this sudden surge of applause and mere resentment at the mortifications of welfare applicants. The charade seemed to loosen a deep wave of feeling against what many perceived to be a sort of cancer epidemic of runaway regulation which, under the guise of efficiency or accountability, seems to constrain our options more each year, rendering many of our own institutions abstract and even forbidding to us. Yet when a junior high school teacher, you're watching her now, began to echo the students' made-up story with some real-life hanky-panky of her own, she'd invented a non-existent work permit number so a suffering Hispanic student could obtain desperately needed dental care. She was later called on the carpet by scandalized school authorities. Her act of willfully falsifying a document seemed shocking to them, whereas her bravery in being willing to confess this fact in public so as to draw attention to a whole world of inhumane or made-on-the-moon regulations was something they were either not willing to recognize or perhaps simply preferred not to confront.
I merely gave him another name and a number, and we got the work done, and no one has ever questioned the papers and never questioned the number.
Now that's exactly the position many welfare workers are in. They don't like putting clients into a catch-22 bind, of course, but since they feel mostly helpless to do much about it, remember the master figure who said, "I don't make the laws, the government makes the laws?" They're apt to respond rather defensively when someone has the audacity or the plain old-fashioned instinct for self-preservation to complain.
Why do you say it like that? You say it like, you know, that we're the bad guys. We're not. We're so nice. We really are very nice. So nice. We really are very nice. So nice. We really are very nice.
By using the word welfare, you automatically set up this block. There's this wall, welfare. How do you deal with welfare? You got to back all the way up from that and say, how do you deal with people? What kind of problems do they have? How do you then deal with those problems that they have, which are going to be multiple: money, food, school, employment, etc.
But also that they began to realize how interconnected the problems were. It was a problem of lack of knowledge, of information. It was a problem of immigration. It was a problem of health. It was a problem of work, welfare bills, etc.
When you ask them a question, and they answer it, they say a lot of other things that aren't pertinent, or they're not agreeable with the question. They go into detail a lot.
To the problem of whether this happens and why.
The problem we're talking about is an individual worker problem.
So every employee of the department is evaluated by their supervisors and by people higher up, and it's done in writing.
Cada empleado le da una evaluación. How often?
At least once a year.
Una vez al año.
And are the clients part of this evaluation?
No.
And are the clients part of this evaluation?
No.
Una vez al año.
And are the clients part of this evaluation?
No.
So she went to ask for help, and the lady said to her, she can't get any kind of help. And she threatened her. That she was going to send a notification to immigration, and that immigration would come and get the baby.
It seems to me, basically, we have to ask why is this type of problem, what's the source of this kind of problem happening?
Well, you're supposed to talk to somebody that can help you. Go, I told her just recently, last month, I told her, go. If you don't, not because of the money or nothing else, just to let the person know that there's somebody there that's not treating whoever goes to take help right.
What makes sometimes for an adversary situation